Good evening. Ira Epstein with your SPDR ETF stock market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for a very active trading day on this Wednesday, January 21st, 2026. All right, my friends. So it started off, as you know, with the president heading to Davos. He had to change planes. He was going to be very late, and then they somehow made up this, the time with the second plane, and he came on about when he should. And of course, what he did is he lambasted, NATO members. I mean, it was embarrassing. It was just one thing after the other. Everything he's done and how good things could be. And then the Greenland issue came up. And on Greenland, of course, he said the U.S. is the only country that can defend it, that they have to be looking forward to what's going on in the Arctic and hypersonic missiles. And he was worried that if the United States, and he said this, not me, were attacked, and he called on NATO members, would they even come to the U.S. aid? Without question, the U.S. would come to their aid. So this was the theme that you got into. Now, as I was watching it, I expected him to do that. And then the question was, where was the carrot going to come to? Because, as you know, his tactic is to get you off balance, to push back on you, and then get his arm around you and call you back in. And that didn't happen during the speech, really didn't happen. That took 4 hours or so, and all of a sudden the breaking news. The U.S. and NATO members have struck a framework deal. I don't know what that means. We were given no details, but the tariffs that were threatened on 8 members of the European Union are off. They're not going to take place. Everybody's buddy-buddy. And with that, the stock market does one of these and takes off to the upside. And that is what the day was about. All right. You can write books about this in the future, but this is exactly what it is. So we don't know what framework means. We don't know what's included in the framework. Joe Kernan on CNBC had an exclusive interview with the president around 2 o'clock. And when he pressed him on it, the president offered no details. So the key word is here, a framework. The key word is the president has changed everything, and he'll have a spin on it for whatever he wants. That's all good news. During the day, we saw that the peace board is coming together. Putin hasn't joined in yet. We'll see who wants to govern Gaza and how that goes as well. In terms of news of the day, let's take a look at what's coming at you tomorrow. You're going to get the second look at the third quarter GDP. To me, that's so old. It's 90 days ago. Doesn't really matter. I'm more interested in what went on last quarter because that's the key, but that's where you're at, so I'll put up all the info for you. Jobless claims come out at 7:30 in the morning. They're looking for a 10,000 increase. Monthly personal income spending and PCE index data. I did a major write-up on what's being looked for in the PCE data. I'll give you the gist here. The hope is that it doesn't fall, that it just goes flat. I said not fall. Going up would be really bad. But why do I say not fall much? Because I think the Fed wants to stay on hold for the moment. And that's where I think we're at this point in time. So I'm looking for that to offer conditions where that's the case. The weekly EI natural gas storage report will come out at 9:30. Petroleum stocks report will come out at 11 o'clock. We got this afternoon the API numbers. This is what they look like. And of course, the other big element of the day was the Supreme Court hearing on Fed Governor Cook. And it certainly sounded like from some of the judges that they're not leaning to give the president power to remove anyone from the Federal Reserve. And the reason is, and Justice Kavanaugh really summed it up. So let me understand. We do this. We give you this power. We open the can of worms. Republicans come in. They fire everybody. Democrats come in. They fire everybody. So where's the independence, and what's the point of the board at that point? That's really what it amounts to. I happen to think that the justices will strike down what the president can do in terms of firing Fed board members. That's where I come from. All right. So when we go back to the chart action, as you can see, there's a lot of green on the board. The markets came up. Look at what happened to Restoration Hardware. Home Depot, these are $9 gains. They're big. Google came back up. Tesla up $12. Eli Lilly came back for 37. So the market came off those lows in a very interesting way. When we come to AMD, look at this market soared on today's action. Impressive. The trend is up. The market's got upside bias as it's over the 18-day average of closes. And the resistance is the Bollinger Band. Now, it got over it in a nice way today. Is it going to accelerate out of here? It could. Let me explain that. You've got sideways action, which is another way of saying a base is forming. You'd have to take out this low to say that base didn't work. So the answer is it could. I didn't say it will. It could. And I didn't say it will because it's already overbought. If overbought became embedded, yeah, you're probably looking at the highs that the market would go for. I was looking both at Lululemon and the Gap as they fell back to key moving averages. So far, the Gap is holding that. That's what I was looking for. And in Lemon, it didn't. It got under the Bollinger Band, and this is a very feeble bounce today. So as much as people thought that this stock was trying to get its mojo back when it got all the way up here, it's proving those people wrong. This is a bearish chart. It'll take a lot of work to make it anything but. It could embed. You have both numbers on the slow stochastic already. If we take a look here, take a look. They're trying to get under 20. They're not quite there yet. When I look at FedEx, yes, this one fell back to the 18-day average and held it. That's what you look for. The line on the sand on a chart is often a moving average. Now, I use the 18-day. Some use a 20. Some use a 21. Does it really matter? It depends on your preference. I've gone back and time-tested what I like, and that's the one that I use. It's easier than, on this stock, I'm going to use a 21. This one a 20. I used to buy a service that did that, and I didn't get anything out of the service other than spending my money. In Netflix, I'm going to repeat, the market doesn't like them going after Warner Brothers. However, there is a however. It has fallen so much, there's a value area that's going to show up. And whether they get Warner Brothers or not, there's going to be a pop. This market has fallen down so much. Keep your eye on the embedded reading. If it closes over 21, I say it'll give you a pop and you might go back into the 18-day average before you know what's going on. Uber's doing just as I wanted. It pulled back. It's trying to hold that 18-day average. It's not a buy yet. It's setting that potential up. Rivian, the combination of the green line, the 100-day average, and the Bollinger Band, an area for short covering. I didn't say new buying. Short covering still has a fully embedded reading. Bounces are still going to get sold in this market. Joby, slipping back, it's opening the door for the $13 area. So when the initial Citibank signals came out back here on the bearishness, they got proven wrong. Now they're probably going to be proven right. We'll see what happens. Stocks today that didn't rally are telling you there's problems in them. XLF, the financial sector. Well, as we take a look at the market, up 26 cents wasn't thrilling. The market is trying to hold the combination of the 100-day average and the Bollinger Band, but there's nothing bullish on this other than it's oversold. It could embed. If it does it with these numbers starting to close under 20, which they haven't done yet, that would be a bad signal. In XLI, you can see that the market held on to the bullish embedded reading. You could be headed back to the upper Bollinger Band. Until that red line closes under 79, I'm still very much in the bull camp. In the energy select sector, you went up for these highs. Come on. The old high was 48.65, and we're now at hit 49.05. So this market has come back into the livelihood of it. I think it was the IEA came out with some numbers that were much friendlier for energy than they had been last year. So they're not seeing the big glut build that they did back then. In GLD, higher lows, higher highs, still coming up. One of these days, gold is going to give you one heck of a correction. Google did just what I was hoping. It came down outside day up. Until you take out today's lows, this market is trying to bottom out now. Microsoft can't get out of its own way. A whole new low for the move. This is Terrible action on it any way you want to cut it. That doesn't mean it can't get a bounce, but it's certainly not a market that's acting well. BND bounced right away from the lower Bollinger Band, probably going to the 18-day average to fight a bit of a battle there. In the dollar index, up right down to the 18-day average and trying to hold it, while FXE is sitting here fighting here. Now, if FXE is going to come alive, it's got to take out the highs of Tuesday. Barring that, you don't have very much there that I can get excited about. So you put it all together, you try to come up with game plans, and maybe you can get one. Why don't you go to our website at iraepstein.com, take a look at the different products, and go to the research area. My SPDR ETF research covers this in great detail, and I give specific buy here, sell there, do this, and I rotate the stocks that I'm always covering within the subscriber videos, and I'm happy. Yesterday, I told you we were nibbling at IWM. Today was a pretty good day for us. We'll see if the market has any legs to it. All you need to do is move your cursor up to the top here. There'll be an icon. You can also move it, well, I'll use this hand. Okay, right over there. If you're watching me on YouTube, there'll be an icon there, or iraepstein.com. Doesn't get any easier. You have yourself a great evening. Watch the other videos, and I'll catch up with you in the morning. Take care.